Hello and welcome to Talking Games match preview of Aston Villa against West Ham United. Unexpected European contenders face off at Villa Park. Before we get into the preview, make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a like on the video because, well, hopefully you can enjoy it. Gonzo, can I get your thoughts on the villains, please?
Wonderful rise. Well, fall and then rise, let's say. It seemed like they were in the Premier League for forever, basically in the top division forever. Ducked and dived a little bit, came back, survived relegation on, might have been the last game of the season against us, quite possibly. It was a draw, wasn't it? They've just gone from strength to strength, really. Good owners, they've got a good manager with a decent philosophy, and rich owners, and I think that's really the key here. And I think they've just recruited really, really well, and not just played that survival game. Take Sheffield United, for example, newly promoted again. Rich owners, I think Saudi-based owners, Sheffield United, you don't feel that they ever really invested. Whereas Aston Villa made big statements straight away, saying, "Okay, we survived by the skin of our teeth. We're going to push on." And I actually think that level of investment probably persuaded somebody like Jack Grealish to think, "Well, hold on a second. If you're going to bring him in, you're going to bring him. I can fulfil my ambitions at my boyhood club." So, I mean, what's not to like? And, a couple of games in hand as well, Geo. They are, you said European contenders. They are a very real proposition for exactly that.
Yeah, I quite like them. I quite like Villa as a club, big club. They came up, they had to spend a lot of money 18 months ago to keep the squad as it was, because they had a lot of on-loan players that they had to sign up on a permanent basis, and then they got a few players and it didn't quite work out for them last season. Their transfer business looked like a failure, but what they were actually doing was just laying the foundations, essentially, trying to stay in the Premier League. And then last summer they were able to add quality rather than quantity. They were able to focus on getting in players that would fit in to their starting 11. I think when we come to the end of the season, we look back at signings of the season, be a couple of Villa players in the running. When we do even when we do team of the season, particularly non-Sky Sports 6 team of the season, there will be a few Villa players in the running as well. I think they're having a really good season. I think they're a really good team to watch. I think they play fantastic football. I like the ethos that they play with as well. There's a lot to like about Villa at the minute, actually, and there's a few bits and pieces to dislike as well as a non-Villa fan. But all in all, a club sort of heading in the right direction. Gonzo, is this a club you would look at and think you'd almost expect big things of them next season, regardless of this one?
No, not necessarily. I don't think that. I think it's going to be really difficult for anybody next season, because I do believe that the big clubs will strengthen. I think we've just seen, was it the net spend was 78 million or something in this window? Unprecedented. That won't continue. The big clubs will go again, Geo. And I think in many respects for Villa and for West Ham, this season's a bit of a perfect storm. And that will only be strengthened in our favour and Aston Villa's favour by the fact that people haven't spent. So now, almost you're seeing managers you're seeing how good a manager is. Basically, you're having to deal with the squad that he's got without any major injections. That being said, obviously they have gone in and they have got a new signing. But I don't feel that Aston Villa are going to go and now spend the 200-300 million required to go and push up to that next level. So can they get 5th, 6th? Can they possibly push for 4th? Yes. To go again and go another level above that is to start pushing for the title, and well, no chance, I'm afraid.
I don't know. I think this year, I think they'll do well to qualify for European football, but I think next year, I think Villa, the recruitment's smart. They're buying good players. They're not afraid to spend the money. They're taking risks in terms of investing. It's almost safe bets what they're doing. Like Martinez, the goalkeeper, Matty Cash, who are buying the best right back out of the Championship, and so on and so forth. It's almost like safe investments. I've been very impressed by their transfer strategy, and if they go again in the summer, they recruit well, you'd expect them to push on even further, and you have to expect them to do that, because I think the one thing they are slightly lacking is this squad depth. I do think if they were to play their second 11, I think the difference between the first 11 and the second 11 is massive. But if they can sort of decrease that gulf in quality, I think they've got a very, very good squad there. This season, however, can they get European football?
Oh, without a shadow of doubt. And I don't wish to demean them. I just think the last step is the biggest step. It's exactly the same in any sport, be it boxing. You can get into the top 10, but there's a massive difference between that and winning a world title. So I just, that's all I mean on that. But can they get European football? Absolutely. Highly likely to get European football. I mean, they really do have an excellent front line, some decent defenders as well, and a functional midfield. So with some half decent players in that, I mean that's almost a team full of very good players. So they're right in the mix, mate. The only thing I would say with Aston Villa is they are patchy. They're in fact their last 4 games probably speaks quite a lot about Aston Villa's season, really. It's wins punctuated with losses. I think Aston Villa really would need to now go on a big run, but more than capable, mate. They probably need to cut out 2 or 3 losses, and they'll get European football.
Yeah, I think they're more than capable too. The one big difference between them and clubs like West Ham and Everton and stuff is Jack Grealish. As simple as that. The guy is bordering on world class at the minute. I think he maybe is even world class. I don't use that term lightly, as you know. I get a bit grumpy when people declare it, but for me it's ability and consistency, and I think Jack Grealish has got both. He's a match winner. The one thing he was lacking last season was goals. He was creating all the chances, he was doing everything except scoring enough goals. This season he started to get his goal tally up a little bit, and he's almost like the complete attacking midfielder, if you like. He's got everything that you need. He's just a joy to watch. Of course, his play acting is frustrating and is unnecessary at times. However, when he's on the ball, I think he's a fabulous footballer to watch. He really is. I think he's just unbelievable, and I think Villa can go on and get into European football. That's got to be their aim as well this season. They've got to be looking at that as an opportunity. We've seen Spurs dropping points to Brighton at the weekend as well. That's only going to encourage teams like West Ham and Aston Villa. I think, hang on, these boys are here for the taking. There's an opportunity for someone to get into that top 6, not just Leicester City. Aston Villa have to be one of those that's mentioned in the same breath. Players you admire?
Well, I mean, I don't want to avoid Grealish just because, why would you? It's hard not to take it personally when he does the sort of things he does against your team. So I almost watch him differently when he's against us than I do for everybody else. And let's not forget, he threw himself to the ground and rolled around holding the wrong part of his anatomy, put it this way. Last time it was cheating. It absolutely was, and it's hard. It's hard to. However, when I take my West Ham hat off, I then look and put my England hat on. It infuriates me when Southgate's taken so long to trust him. And does he trust him? He really should be one of the first names on the team sheet. And you say joy to watch. He really is a joy to watch. I love those type of players who look like they're floating over the pitch and it looks effortless. Really, really good player. Somebody I picked out last time, and I picked him out because I saw him play for Chelsea pre-season a few years ago, was Bertrand Traore, and he looked like Chelsea's best player 3-4 years ago, maybe something like that. Audaciously skilled, and I feel now he's starting to show some of that. As I say, I remember saying it in the previous preview to the last game, and he does ridiculous things with the football, and I think possibly Aston Villa have just started to see the very start of what he could do. And I also like, I'm not going to pick out everyone, I also really like Tyrone Mings, by the way. Not just for his defending, but he's a leader. He is a massive leadership qualities. I love the way that he forces his personality on a game. You don't see that too often, actually. And there's a few players that I'm a little bit jealous of Aston Villa. But Tyrone Mings, certainly. I know he plays in Ogbona's position. I don't want to get rid of Ogbonna in that sense, but what a leader, what a character, a proper man and a bloody good player too.
Emi Martinez, I think he's one of my favourite keepers in the league. Martinez and Nick Pope are my 2 favourite goalies. I think Martinez he was 20 million, it's a lot of money, but it looks like a bargain. It looked like a bargain from the minute he put on some goalie gloves at Villa Park, and every time I watch him, he just gets better and better and better. Matty Cash has proven our interest to be correct in him. He's stepped up to the Premier League. I think he's had a fantastic debut season, and my fellow Scotsman John McGinn I don't think he's been as good this season as last season, but I don't know how much he had that really bad injury last season. I think he's over it now, but I think Villa changing shapes not helped him, because they used to play like a 4-3-3, and now they've gone to a more conventional 4-2-3-1 with the inclusion of Ross Barkley. I think that's giving John McGinn more stuff to do when I watch him, but he's still a rare box-to-box midfielder. He's got everything in his locker, and there's not many players like that around in the Premier League, to be honest with you. Anyway, shall we stop talking about that Claret Blues and start talking about our own one? Before we do though, if you wish to join our Patreon, the link is in the description below. It's patreon.com/HammersChat. From £3 plus VAT per month, you can support the channel and unlock more Hammers Chat content. Do you like the sound of that? Probably not. But if you want to support the channel, the link is in the description below. Right, Gonzo. We lost our first game for quite a while, so any changes? It's the same squad plus Jesse Lingard. He's been in training today. He's been pictured by the social media paparazzi, and he's been put up there. David Moyes has spoken about him, saying that he can play him if he wants to, but will he? Don't know, and I wouldn't tell you anyway. That was roughly what David Moyes said. Would you like to see Jesse Lingard start?
No. There's no way he can possibly be fit enough to start. Yeah, but I would very much like to see him off the bench for whoever David Moyes deems likely to play. Hopefully he's going to be a really, really good signing, but I think so. Our main thing is our fitness. I do think it's a massive part of West Ham. That being said, we did look tired and quite fatigued in the last one. So maybe there's room for inclusion there. But it would be very un-Moyes-like to do that. It really would. And if Haddy had been playing lots of games with Man United, wouldn't have an issue at all. But not only is he not match fit, he's probably not West Ham squad fit either, so I'd imagine he's probably got a lot of running, a lot of drills to do before Moyes starting him in games.
Is there any changes you would like to see, just in general, from the starting 11 from the last couple of games?
No, because I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, really, on this one. I think it's easy to look at that Liverpool defeat and be disheartened, and it was gutting, really. More to the fact that not just we had such high expectations, but I think also the last two occasions we played Liverpool, we've done better than that. I don't feel in the previous two games that we were outclassed. I felt we were unlucky not to win in one of them, actually, and the other one we should have got a draw. This one we deservedly lost, and it just happens. We alluded to it in the review that actually it was probably that and Newcastle have been absolutely terrible performances where we just didn't turn up. I know people didn't like the Brighton one, but I think that was more the style of play. Actually, Brighton, we probably did what David Moyes wanted us to do. It was more about that. This we stunk the place out in this game, and I just don't think we're going to turn up and show up like that again. And I would imagine that David Moyes has shown them all lots of video nasties of the game and told everybody what they did wrong. Hopefully, David Moyes has had a look at it himself and had a look at what he did wrong. So I don't think we need to start making wholesale changes in this one, which leads us to the question, should we tweak it at all? I'm struggling to think of anybody, I guess. Do I want to suddenly put Lanzini in there? No, I think Benrahma deserves another go. I just think as a team had a bad day at the office. But there are a couple. Again, I think Bowen, you could possibly say, should Bowen be dropped? Maybe. But again, I think he's earned another go. It was only the game before that he got an assist as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I wouldn't change anything either. I think the defence, certainly, the back five all got enough credit in the bank, and I don't think they played badly. I thought the defence were okay against Liverpool. I just think they were sort of let down by what happened in front of them, and I think the tactics was they were asked to pretty much defend for 90 minutes, and it's a tough job to do that with concentration, make zero errors. You make half a mistake, you'll get punished. Creswell made half a mistake, we got punished. It's a big ask for them. In terms of the midfield going forward, Rice and Solskjaer automatically start. Antonio is the only option up front, really. So you're looking, if you're going to do any changes, you're looking at that three behind Mikel and Antonio and say, well, one of you is going to come out. The problem is, Gonzo, I don't think there's much option. I know I've got Yarmolenko and Lanzini, but would I take any of them in ahead of those three? I probably wouldn't, to be honest with you. If we had someone else on the bench that was maybe a bit better and a bit better form, then I possibly would change something, just as like almost like a message to the first team to say that performance is unacceptable. You can't do that. So one of you is getting punished. But I wouldn't change anything. I think the players got enough credit in the bank. We were in a good form. We all had an off day collectively. Give them all a chance to rectify against Aston Villa, and should they not do that, should they not turn up and put in another lacklustre performance, then there will be consequences for the following game. But prediction time. I knew you were going to say that. So prediction time. Do you think Moyes will make any changes? Because Gonzo, I think he will make one change, and I think it will be Mr. Saeed Benrahma that misses out.
Do you really? Yeah, I mean, I would hope nobody does. It should be Bowen, really, if you're going to pick one person out from that, really. But as I've said before, Bowen seems to be afforded errant passes and overextended dribbles that Benrahma isn't. I noticed some. I'm a big believer. I haven't really laboured this point much. I mentioned it in the review, but I haven't really mentioned it since. When Benrahma did his back heel, Rice's card was directly afterwards. I am in no doubt, if you go and watch that again, Rice lost his temper that Benrahma played the back heel and conceded possession. So basically, he did a stupid foul. This is not the first time I have seen Declan Rice be petulant after Benrahma's tried something. I may be putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5, but that's twice now I've seen him react badly to something Benrahma's done. Also, on the first time, David Moyes also reacted badly to when Benrahma. I think it was a shot. He took a shot when, maybe he shouldn't have done. But this is what I want. I want people to look at it in an even-handed way. Everything I see Benrahma do, and you know me, I don't think Benrahma's West Ham's best player. I don't buy into all that. But I do think he should have equal opportunity, and if you get an equal opportunity, well, you've got to look at Bowen. Bowen many times shoots when he should pass, many times takes a dribble too far. So I think it would be a little unfortunate on Benrahma if he was the one to get dropped. I don't think Moyes will, but I sort of trust your judgment. What do you think he's going to do then?
There's only 2 players that could come in, Lanzini and Noble. And Noble looked all right when he came out against Liverpool. And I thought he was, Moyes. I think Moyes. I don't know how he described him, but I think he might have described Noble as the best player on the park against Doncaster. But David Moyes certainly alluded to the fact that he was his man of the match or something along those lines. I've got a feeling he'll drop Saeed Benrahma. Because when I said all the players have got credit in the bank, I don't think Saeed Benrahma's got enough David Moyes credit. I don't think Moyes is 100% sold on him yet. For the instances that we spoke about, he keeps making incorrect decisions in the final third. He keeps shooting when he's not supposed to, so on and so forth. And I wouldn't be surprised if Benrahma does not start against Aston Villa, because he will fear Villa. David Moyes will look at that Aston Villa team with the way they play, the flair and stuff, and he will think, no, I don't fancy this actually. We will be playing very similar formations. We'll both be playing 4-2-3-1 or a very similar way of doing it. So it's going to be interesting because we're going to be going toe-to-toe with them a little bit. And then I think they're better than us in some positions of the pitch. We might have... I think they've got a better goalkeeper. I think we've got... Villa fans will say they've got the better right back, and West Ham fans will say we've got the better right back. There's going to be very much a tribal thing here with Soufal against Mike Cash, but they've got the better left winger, for example, with Jack Grealish. They've probably, again, Villa fans would argue about their striker Ollie Watkins being more suited to the striker role than what Mikel Antonio is, and so on and so forth. So I think Moyes will be looking at it the same way, and I think there's going to be one change. I do think that. But what I don't want to see, Gonzo, I don't want to see Mipo Odebeko come off the bench to make way for Jesse Lingard, and I fear that that's going to happen too. I think when you're looking at that team, who's you going to get off the bench in order to put Lingard in? I think it'll be Odebeko. I think he'll look at that and say, I've got Lingard, Yarmolenko and Lanzini as my attacking options. That'll do me. I don't need that. I don't need more than 3 attacking options. You can only do 3 subs. So I think I've got. I don't know. I think he'll make. I think he'll change Saeed Benrahma. But.
Well, I, when you explain it like that, yeah, I mean, I can see him doing that. I really hope he doesn't. I've got to say, and particularly that it would almost be a double blow to drop Benrahma and put Noble in, and then take the young striker off the bench. Would be. I think it would just create the wrong vibe just before the game as well. I think we'd be doing our build-up show an hour before, and the team will come in. Well, you'll know the team before, and you'll hint at what the team will be, and then and it will come through, and we'll get I'll be disappointed with that, certainly. But then again, Moyes is totally capable of disappointing you with a lineup, then going and winning the game. So let's not forget that as well.
How important is this game though? Not just we got beat by Liverpool, but then the transfer deadline day thing. In fact, I think some fans are a little bit on edge right now, a bit concerned that the season's gonna not fulfil its potential, if you like.
Well, it is important. It is a very not for. David Moyes can't impact that, because I mean, I was one of them. I've gone from really excited to despondent. David Moyes can't deal with people's emotions when they're a roller coaster like that. He can't. We're like this. I think to myself, he's got to do that. He's got to flatline his way through the whole lot, and because he's got to think objectively about this thing. Sorry, what's the question?
How important is this game?
Very. It's very, very important. It's important not to lose back-to-back games. Look, ideally we win it, but it is important not to lose. And I think he'll be aware of that. I think he will know, David Moyes, more than anyone, that he could draw this game, then win the next one. And then it's almost as you were. Would we be in the top four or anything? No. But we would probably then look at it and think, well, actually, we're only 3 points away from being somewhere impressive again. I wouldn't be surprised if he looks at it something like that, Gio.
Yeah, I think it's a massive game, really. I think if we get beat or if there's an injury to a particular player as well, I think the fan base will get a bit, hang on a minute, this isn't good enough. This is what we expected to see. I'm a little bit worried because I think when we played them at London Stadium, I actually think Villa outplayed us, really. I know we won, but we had 2 shots on target. The first one was in the 90 seconds in, Ogbonna scored. The second one was 30 seconds in the second half when Bowen scored. And that was it. That's the only time we really attacked. I thought Villa were harsh. Did they get done by VAR in that match or something? Or did they miss a pen or something? I can't remember. I'm sure something happened to stop Villa getting a point. I think Villa were better than us. I think they were the only team I've seen really turn up and really just outplay us, if you like, completely. And I remember thinking we got away with it a little bit. I can't remember what happened. I'm sure there was a VAR call for an Ollie Watkins handball.
I think Watkins was involved.
Yeah.
But I think, if I remember rightly, Watkins probably should have stayed on his feet and could have stayed on his feet, but and probably got a goal in that.
Is that the one Ogbonna held him and then grabbed him by the throat or something and sort of nudged him offside and he scored, and VAR said offside, and Villa were saying, well, hang on, it should be a pen then. They were saying, nah, forget that, carry on.
Who was the winger? Who was the winger?
Probably Grealish.
Not Traore. Who was the winger?
It might have been.
He ended up getting kicked in the face.
It might have been Trezeguet or El Ghazi.
Trezeguet. It was Trezeguet. Trezeguet was silly. Yeah. I do remember it now. Yeah. In the end, Trezeguet actually ended up throwing himself to the ground, getting a whack in the face from Declan Rice. I think. But Villa, yeah, they did deserve to win. They played better. They were their own down. They were the architects of their own downfall in that, quite frankly, because Grealish's diving had actually become infectious, and Trezeguet did it. And Watkins did it at times. And I remember saying in the review, I'm glad you reminded me, I said, well, Watkins shouldn't be doing this. It's almost like he'd learned it. And then somebody said to me, actually, afterwards, that one of the worst divers in the Premier League was Mopai at Brighton. And apparently a lot of these guys who were under Dean Smith at Brentford, this is something he sort of does encourage that. Now, I didn't know any of this before, because I asked after the game, I said, do you remember me saying, Gio, they must be training at this. They must be training to dive. It was the most unpalatable performance I've seen, certainly, since England played Colombia in the World Cup, where I thought Colombia were just a bunch of cheats. So I think actually playing football, Villa were better in this game, but I, as a fan, I felt totally vindicated because there was so much cheating going on. But we need to be very, very careful. Make no mistake, look, ideally, it's won by some skill. It's won by a set piece from West Ham. If Villa win, ideally, someone skillful scores a scissor kick and it's won honestly. Do not rule out this game being won by some skullduggery, and that is a worry.
Yeah. I think it's a big game as well, just to calm the fans a little bit. I think the fans are a little bit anxious at the moment, a little bit worried that what was such a promising season, expectations had risen a little bit, not just with the league, but with the transfer market. Saying, well, go on then, go get us a striker. We never got one. I think the fans are still a little bit disappointed. I think a win would just calm everyone down a little bit and give us. We'll forget about the transfer window. A win tomorrow night and we'll almost forget about it until a injury occurs. But then we can enjoy the football a little bit more, because at the minute it seems like the focus is what's happening off the pitch at West Ham United rather than what's on it. Whereas for the previous months, because of our fine form, we were actually just focusing on the football and we'd forgotten about all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. I think it's now swapped over again. I think a win tomorrow night would put us back onto focusing on what's happening on the pitch a little bit. I mean, me and you are culpable as well. We can't sit here and do videos about what's going on off the pitch and then say it's wrong to do it. It's just what we feel, what I feel is happening on social media and so on and so forth. Confident?
No, I'm not. It's hard. It's been a tough couple of days for West Ham, and I've certainly felt that. And as I say, I have gone, but I feel like their life at the moment is a roller coaster of ups and downs of emotions. And actually, I think West Ham in the last 5 days has mirrored my emotions just generally at the moment. I've gone from ecstatic to depths of depression. I think so. No, I think it's really, really hard to be confident on this one. No, but I don't. But I'm not totally pessimistic either, which probably tells you what I'm going to predict.
Yeah, I'm not confident. Like I said, I thought Villa, out of the first 19 games of the season, Villa were probably the most impressive opponents for me, even though they got beat. People just remind me in the live chat, Watkins got a pen and hit the bar with it. Then later on, he had the controversy with the should have got an offside goal and stuff, and Trezeguet missed a sitter. So they would have come away feeling robbed a little bit. But like you said, sort of, it's your own fault, really. A bit of karma, if anything. That's what you get for flinging yourself to the floor constantly. Because I remember Douglas Luiz doing one as well. He was. I think he might have even got booked for his dive. I'm not sure.
But that's why Trezeguet didn't get his, if you remember, because the referee had just seen so much of it. I bet the referee was a case of get up.
Yeah, so I'm a bit nervous for this one. I think they've got the best player on the pitch. We keep him quiet. We give ourselves half a chance. It'll be tough though. They're a good team, play good football. They're scoring. While they got beat by Burnley, they still scored 2 in that game. Ross Barkley's getting back to full fitness as well. They've just signed your mate. I'm surprised you never mentioned him. Your Morgan Sanson. He'll be on the bench. Yeah. They've got a decent squad of players there. So I'm a little bit iffy. West Ham Online's in the chat, Gonzo. I don't normally do this. West Ham Online's in the chat saying Odbeko's been called into the squad late. Now, we know over the last couple of days he's called in saying that he speaks to Mipo Odebeko. So that'd be interesting if it's true.
Called into the squad late?
Which we can say, he said it's insinuating there's an injury or sort of possibly COVID or something.
And it's would suggest he wasn't included in the first place.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I would say good, but that we don't. Let's not kid ourselves up. We understand who is injured. I mean, we might have our ideas. Look,
crikey! Now you've got me worried. Let's move on.
It could be someone we really.
Don't say that.
What I'm saying, I don't wish injury on this person, but it might not be David Martin that's injured. Do you know what I mean? It might be someone. It might be Antonio or someone. Crikey, but that's what it does to you, West Ham. Do you know what I mean? Here we go.
Right, before we get Gonzo's myself score prediction, make sure you join us tomorrow night. It's a 8:15 kick-off, I think. Yeah, it's a 8:15 kick-off, which means we will be live at 7:10. We'll be live at 7:10. Mild Addicts patrons, you'll get your video first thing in the morning. Gonzo, can I get your score prediction, please?
I'm going to go with a 1-1, Geo. 1-1, yeah, I think so. I'm going to say 2-1 Villa. And it's not because of our game against Liverpool, it's just because of what I saw of Aston Villa in the earlier game of the season. They're a good team. Simple as that. Anyway, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're allowed here. Leave your comments below what you think about the game. Give us your score predictions as well. And like I said, join us at 7:10 tomorrow evening, where we'll be taking a look at the West Ham lineup, the Aston Villa lineup, and giving our final thoughts of the game before we have our watch along, so on and so forth. Gonzo, I'll see you tomorrow night. You will.